Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. Thus, during 2 seasons, the rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great-souled sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. Purport. Transcendental loving service for the Supreme Lord is the natural inclination of every living being. The instinct is dormant in everyone, but due to the association of material modes of passion and ignorance, due to the association of material nature, the modes of passion and ignorance cover this from time immemorial. If, by the grace of the Lord and the great soul devotees of the Lord, a living being becomes fortunate enough to associate with the unadulterated devotees of the Lord and gets a chance to hear the unadulterated glories of the Lord, certainly the flow of devotional service takes place like the flow of a river. As the river flows on until she reaches the sea, similarly, pure devotional service flows by the association of pure devotees till it reaches the ultimate goal, namely, transcendental love of God. Such a flow of devotional service cannot stop. On the contrary, it increases more and more without limitation. The flow of devotional service is so potent that any onlooker also becomes liberated from the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance. These 2 qualities of nature are thus removed, and the living being is liberated, being situated in his original position. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Morning everybody. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Wednesday morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Thank you all for allowing me to speak here. Jai Shri Radha Gunananda, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Jai Shri Gaurnitai. So, before I begin, I would like to request the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, especially the senior most devotees, that I may be blessed to speak something which is purifying to our hearts, enlivening in our devotional service, and that our hearts become fertile ground for this sublime message to take root on. So today we are hearing an ecstatic verse and purport. We are hearing the instructions of Narada Muni to Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva has become very despondent, even though he has been working so hard. It's like, something's not right. I'm not feeling it. So, he goes to Narada Muni and says, like, my dear Gurudev, please explain to me what's going on. Why am I feeling dejected? Why am I not just like bouncing off the walls at this moment after doing such nice, wonderful work? And, Narada Muni says, you've done wonderfully, but you forgot to, put more Krishna into it. So, then he goes into, a little tangent, talking about the way that when you hear just Krishna, like a lot of Krishna, just Krishna, then everything just becomes perfect. Your heart becomes cleansed in the ways that they're talking about here today. And we're hearing here that he starts to give an example of that. He gives his own life story, right? So we all, to make a point, really, to nail down a point, sometimes we give a personal example, right? In my life, this is what happened, right? So Narada Muni, being here a great preacher, he goes like, okay, yeah, here's my life story. Once I was little, and I was the son of a maidservant. And these great Mahatmas came. And, they stayed with us for 2 rainy seasons. And because, I was the son of a maidservant, then, she engaged me. The mothers always like to make the children go and, come on, give that to the Swami, give that to the Swami. And then he gets the cookie, right? So that's what happened with Narada Muni. He was 5 years old and, like that. And the Mahatmas were just so endeared. We see when little kids come and do some devotional service. I've seen this little boy. I don't know. I didn't see him today, but he always comes at the beginning to offer flowers, and then he bows down like that, right? It's just like so endearing. It's like chai, little kid doing devotional service. So that's what the Mahatmas saw, like a little kid doing this nice devotional service, and they just showered all of their mercy on him. And because of that service that he rendered onto them, then he got a real eagerness to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from them, to hear the messages of God. That is what the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 2nd canto says, that when one does service to the great Atmas, to the Mahatmas, great service is done because, and the fruit of that is that we get, this desire to hear. So, what happens when we get that desire to hear, and we get that chance to hear from these great souls? So he's telling us here that they stay there during two seasons, the rainy season and the autumn. And because of that, he says, as the flow of devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. Now, isn't that nice? That's the perfection of our endeavors, that we get to hear the Lord's glories and actually feel something happening rather than falling asleep. That's what happens to me generally. Starts Om Namo Bhagavate. The end. Looking at Sridhar Swami's commentary, he says that actually the modes of Rajas and Tamas are the causes for our bhakti not being dridha, fixed, strong. Prabhupada here is telling us from the beginning that our natural inclination is that of sattva guna. It is the Shuddha Sattva. Loving devotional, transcendental loving service, that is our normal state. But because we came in contact with this world, we started mixing up, with these modes of material nature. And in this world, there is no Shuddha Sattva. Apart from, when pure devotees come and transcendentalize the atmosphere, everything is mixed with the modes of material nature. Everything. So, when we have that mixture, then things don't become as transcendental. Why is it that when we are chanting our japa, well, at least for me, the ecstasy, the tears, start flowing, the hair stand on end. What is it called? Horripilations. And the shaking of the body. Why is that not happening? Because of tamas and rajas. Otherwise, we'd be ecstatic every time. And this thing happens all over the universe to different degrees. Right now, in the middle planetary systems here in Bhumandala, we have a predominance of rajas. That's the predominant mode here. Everybody is in rajas mode. If you don't believe that, go to London. Just go downtown London. Last Saturday, we saw rajas to its, to its utmost in the gay parade. Yeah. Boy. And if you start going up in the planetary systems, you will see that the mode of sattva starts becoming more prominent, right? In the worlds of Maharloka, Tapaloka, and Janaloka, the Munis, they're there doing tapasya and they're doing yagyas and that's very sattvic. Satyaloka, where Lord Brahma is, super sattvic. But even in these places, there's a little tinge of rajas and tamas. Little tinge. Because of that, they're in this material world. So, what do we do to get rid of that? Well, we're hearing here what is to be done. But before we get there, let's look at something. Sridhar Swami talks about how bhakti means in this purport prema, and that's what Srila Prabhupada did in his purport. He says how the flow of devotional service flows on until it reaches the sea. So he's talking about this love of God reaching prema, and it's such a beautiful analogy, isn't it? That this river goes on unimpeded until it reaches the sea of prema. And in a certain way, Srila Prabhupada is paraphrasing who? Krishna, yes. Think about Srimad Bhagavatam, the same canto. Queen Kunti. He's paraphrasing Queen Kunti. Because she says that when Krishna is about to leave Dwarka, right? The Pandavas, they got their kingdom back, everything is nice, the battle is over, King Yudhishthira has been put on the throne, and now it's okay, everything's good. And he says, okay, well, time to go. I haven't seen my family in like months, so I should be going now. And everybody starts crying, oh, Krishna is leaving, and like that. And Queen Kunti, she's a pure devotee, so she was like super attached to Krishna, and it's like, okay, now Krishna's leaving, now heartbreak, and one of the things that she says is that let my love towards you flow like the Ganges to the sea, right? So this and then she also says like let the calamities come again and again. It's like, okay, wow, but at least this one we can relate to. Okay, yeah. Let my love flow towards you like the Ganges to the sea. What does it mean, to flow like that? It means to go unimpeded. Let it go unimpeded by any obstacles. When the river flows and it finds like a big rock, it just goes either over it or around it. But it's not stopped. It keeps going. It keeps going. Like the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going towards its destination. Now, these obstacles, what are these obstacles in bhakti? They are our anarthas, aren't they? And we have so many of them. In the stages of devotional service, as we are trying to go from the stage of shraddha, of faith, all the way up to prema, right? It is a process of clearing out, of diminishing the modes of tamas and rajas, diminishing and allowing the mode of goodness in our devotional service to flow through. And especially, I remember when I was just coming to Christian consciousness, and I started looking at these stages of devotional service, right? And it was like, okay, I got this one done, I got that one done, I got that one done. Okay, it's going nicely, right? A friend of mine was doing the calculation. He said, when he first came to Christian consciousness, and he said, I was thinking like, okay, it took me this long to get here, so to get to the others, it will take me, like about a year and a half or so. To get to Prema. So, Jai. Pure devotee, year and a half. Not as fast as Dhruva Maharaj, but, I'm not such a great devotee. But, year and a half, that's good enough, right? In a year and a half, you can get a good body, and a year and a half, you can get probably a master's degree, and in a year and a half, you can become a pure devotee. Great, I can do all three at the same time. Didn't quite work like that, did it? Why? Because the stage of anartha nivritti, of clearing out our anarthas, is so hard. It takes, a long, long time. Generally, when we come to devotional service, there is this impetus, and we get to that bhajana kriya, and then, okay, now here's when the rubber hits the road. Now is where we really have to start working on our past anarthas. Where we left off in our last lifetime, now we have to deal with it. You learned how to do the mantras, you learned how to do the puja, you learned, how to bow down and shake your head, yes, Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji, you learned all of that. Now, okay, let's deal with the fact that you can't control your senses. Oh boy. So, in this connection, Srila Bhaktivinoda explains some of these obstacles, some of these anarthas in one of his songs. So, with your permission, I would like to. There are 21 demons in Krishna's Leela that he talks about. It was really nice the way he did it. There are 21 demons in Krishna's Leela that he killed, and then he puts he takes each one of these demons and correlates it to one of to an obstacle in our path of bhakti. So, if you with your permission, I would like to read some of them so that it's just ecstatic hearing it. So, Putana, the witch demoness, she represents the pseudo guru. Shakatasura, the cart demon, is it's carrying the burden of a cartload of old and new bad habits, lethargy and vanity. And as you hear all of these, think about how all of these are related to the modes of rajas and tamas. Every single one of these. It's it's either rajas or tamas or a mixture of the two. Trinavarta, the whirlwind demon. False pride that comes from material scholarship, which leads to bogus philosophies. Then the deliverance of Nalakuvara and Manigriva, breaking the twin Arjuna trees. He says it's the arrogant pride that comes from puffed up prestige, which is rooted in the madness for wealth. Vatsasura, the calf demon, a childish mentality which gives rise to a type of greediness, which results in a wicked type of mischievousness. Bakasura, the stork demon, cunning duplicity, deceptiveness, and false types of behavior. Agasura, the snake demon, cruelty and violence. Brahma Mohan pastime, Lord Brahma stealing the cowherd boys and the calves. Mundane activities and speculative scholasticism. Wow, that was it. Dhenukasura, the ass demon, gross materialistic intelligence, ignorance of spiritual knowledge. Kaliya, the chastising the Kaliya serpent, brutality and treachery. And it goes on and on. This is an ecstatic, just goes on. And, you go like, well, yeah, I have a little bit of that, yeah, and maybe a little bit of that, and oh boy, there's a lot of that there. right? If at least the one of laziness is there, laziness to get up in the morning for the morning prayer. Oh my God, yeah, okay, I got to do it. Let's do it. But then at some point it's like, okay, I got used to that, right? But then, laziness of japa, just go and chant your japa. Okay, well, I got the 16 rounds done. Okay, can you do 64? Prabhuji, it's a gradual process, right? So when we go through these through these things, we will see that as we work on ourselves, as we try to go through the process of devotional service, it starts clearing out the modes of tamas and rajas, so that it can leave, and the flow will go on. But there's a difficulty, isn't there? Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, he talks about this in his famous lecture series, Cure of Souls. Has anybody heard of that series? Back when I joined the Brahmacharya ashram, it was the talk. You know how there are like these fads that go on in sometimes it's like a certain type of fast, and everybody's doing the fast. Or in this case it was these lecture series, and everybody had to hear the lecture series. So it was a lecture series of Cure of Souls by Ravindra Swarup Prabhu. It's an ecstatic series of lectures, and there's one specially where he talks about the dark night of the soul. Has anybody heard that term, the dark night of the soul? You've heard about it. So it's this idea that this experience that all the devotees have, as we are, we became fired up, to leave the material world. It's like, I'm done with this. I don't want anything except pure devotional service. Don't talk to me about anything but Krishna Katha. I'm only going to eat Krishna Prasad, and I'm going to, Prabhu, do you need help with that? Prabhu, do you need help with that? I'm going around everywhere, frantic, trying to find devotional service. And then after some time, it's like, no, Prabhuji, that's not my service. Yeah. Or, that Prabhuji is coming. Let me go around, because I know what he's going to ask me to do, So, this complacency starts happening. And the initial taste for Krishna consciousness, that freebie that we got, that promotional window, closed, and now we're doing the hard work, and it's, and we're just doing things sometimes mechanically, and it gets to a point where, we're seeing it that it's very hard. It's very hard to continue because, gosh, I'm not there yet. I'm not the pure devotee that has the taste, that has, that is ecstatic, by doing, just engaging in devotional service. And I can't go back. I can't go back because I know too much now. Yeah, like the mafia, right? You can't leave. You know too much. If you try to go back, you really can't enjoy, because, it's like devotees have tried, and we see so many examples of devotees going back and really trying to I'm going to enjoy now. I'm going to enjoy my senses. And you see that you just can't. You know too much about Krishna's devotional service, about the real purpose of life and all of that, so you really can't enjoy anymore. So now we're stuck in this no man's land, in this desert. We've done like the Jews who escaped from Egypt, and we're now in this no man's land, this desert, and we're dying, of thirst. So we can't go back, and we're still not there. what do we do? What do we do in that position? So, the solution is given here to us by Narada Muni. What did he do? He served great souls. Even if we're doing it mechanically, just really endeavor, to do little service. Devotees are so compassionate. They're so, compassionate upon us that even if we do a little service, they magnify it. They magnify it to a big extent. Oh, Prabhuji, you're so great. You did like that. I'm just sweeping the floor. Yes, but the way you're doing it, Prabhuji, is, they're so nice. They will take anything we do and they will magnify it. So that even a simple devotee who has been, maybe doing, like pujari service in a little temple and, has not looked for any recognition like that, devotees look upon that devotee as like, wow, I wish I had his steadiness. Right? Who cares about a little person, doing a little service? The devotees do. They recognize that because Krishna recognizes that. So, with that little service, then we get a chance to develop a taste for hearing. And if we keep on hearing, this thing is not, it's not mundane. Like we try to read a little bit of Bhagavatam every day. We try to hear a little bit of Bhagavatam every day. Just by doing that, just a little more, better if we can do more, obviously. But, just endeavor to continue doing it. We will see the effects it has on us. If you're chipping away every day, in a cell, you're in a cell and you're chipping away every single day, just a little bit, there's going to be a day when you're going to finally break free from this cell. The cell is the material world. And we're just chipping at it every day, a little bit. Don't get discouraged by the fact that, it's not going as fast as I want it. It's better if you get, a pick and a shovel and you just start going like that, even better. But even if it's just a little bit every day, we get that. Because it's going to start working on us more and more. And we were just talking with a devotee the other day. He was telling me that, his spiritual master told him that, that he should hear his certain series of lecture series that he had done before he can take initiation. So he did, and he said that in one of the important points that was stressed in one of those lectures was hearing and trying to come to the mode of goodness. Trying to come more to the mode of goodness, so that we can get freed of that. Prabhupada said that he didn't say that cleanliness is next to godliness. He said cleanliness is godliness, right? And cleanliness is mode of goodness. Morning program is mode of goodness. Always eating prasadam is mode of goodness. Basically, our whole lifestyle is based on trying to get us to the point of pure goodness so that from there we can blast off into transcendence. And when we do that, we will see that gradually, as Prabhupada says here, it goes from a little rivulet. When the Ganges starts up in the Himalayas, the way that we see it is very, very small, right? Like just a little river. But by the time that it gets to the Bay of Bengal, it's a huge river with a lot of force. Basically, if you try to cross it, most people have drowned from it because it's just so powerful. That's how we want our bhakti to, be going. Just like whatever obstacles, it doesn't matter, going through everything, and eventually it reaches the sea. And it is actually said in Chaitanya Mangal that the obstacles are the servants of the Lord. When Lord Chaitanya just took sannyas, He just took sannyas, and he's saying, okay, great, I'm going to Vrindavan. And he starts going to Vrindavan, yay, Vrindavan ki jai, and Lord Nityananda goes and diverts him a little bit and gets him instead to Shantipur. And so Lord Chaitanya says okay, you tricked me. And yeah, but only because inside you really wanted it, and all the devotees too. And who's there in Shantipur? All the devotees, including his mother. And when his mother hears that he's going to go to Vrindavan, she's like, okay, all I ask of you, is that you took sannyas without, caring for anything, and now I'm going to be left alone. That's okay. But at least, please, don't go to Vrindavan. Go to Puri. It's the same. Vrindavan is not different from Puri. And from Puri, at least I can get news of you. So Lord Chaitanya says, okay, fine. I'll go to Puri. So I'm going to Puri. And then devotees are going yeah, but, why don't you wait a little bit? Because right now there is political unrest. There's wars in the countries and all that. So please, just stay a little bit. And Lord Chaitanya says when will there ever be a time, when things are going to be just perfect, And then at that moment, Advaita Acharya says yes, my Lord, obstacles are actually your servants. So we are hearing that why are they the servants of the Lord? Because they purify us. We should see all the obstacles that we have not really as, Krishna is just making it hard for me. He's just just being okay, let's see. No, these are Jai Shri Radha Nanda, Jai Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Jai Shri Gaurnitai. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also explains that obstacles are actually my greatest ecstasies. The obstacles I encounter in spirit in my life are actually my greatest ecstasies. And why is that? Because it gives us a chance to show the Lord how really committed we are. Right? In a love movie, right? If you see the boy and the girl coming together, and he looks at her, she looks at him, and they go Jai. End of the movie, you go that movie sucked. What was it about that movie? But if suddenly one of them, the parents go no, you cannot marry him because he's from another caste. Oh, big drama, and now Bollywood scene starts, and this dancing and everything. So this, now it gets exciting, because there is, there's some obstacles there, right? So, here is a movie playing out, and it's our lives, right? And because of these obstacles, we get to really show Krishna how much we really want his love. How much we're really going to endeavor for it. And it's an ecstasy to do it. When the mothers, when they have their children like that, what are some of the greatest ecstasies once they've passed, some of those traumatic periods? It's I used to go, nights without sleeping, nights and when my child, like that. So they're just remembering all of these hardships, but they're, it's with love, and cherishing them. So we still have 10 more minutes, in case anybody has any questions, comments, chastisements, or wisecracks.